Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching NDTV. Haryana elections are just 3 days away, and there's enormous importance attached to these polls. For one, it is the first set of elections after the 2024 Lok Sabha polls that saw the BJP come back to power, but with a reduced mandate. In Haryana, Congress and BJP were even Stevens with 5 seats each. For many, Haryana has come to be known as the Jat land, underlying the predominance of the Jat community in the small state. But remember that there are OBCs, Dalits and other communities too who have a say. In fact, the political rhetoric of Chattis biradari or 36 communities is what every party has spoken about this time, all while explicitly also making their outreach to specific vote banks very clear. So will the Jats remain the pivot of poll outcome in Haryana this time? How will the Jat versus non-Jat divide play out on ground, and how does this impact the largely bipolar Haryana political fight that involves the ruling BJP that has relied on non-Jat consolidation till now, even banking on chief ministers from other communities, and of course the opposition Congress party? Now, Congress is clearly looking for Jat Dalit consolidation, but is that even possible considering the social factors? And cutting across caste lines and regions, will issues like the Agnipat scheme, the old pension scheme, for that matter, development, unemployment, infrastructure, and law and order, will they also play a role? That is what we will try and understand today. Of course, we'll be joined by a panel of experts. Joining me now is Mahima Singh, who's the spokesperson of the Congress party. We have Siddharth Yadav, who is spokesperson of the BJP. We have Amitabh Tiwari, political strategist, and also Amandeep Kesari, who's spokesperson of the INLD. Starting with you, Mahima, how are you looking at the social arena in Haryana, because clearly the Dalit factor is something that is also to be played. We've seen the Hudas do really well even in 2019, but they fell short of majority. They fell short of that magic number. So clearly Jats alone are not going to help you. Are you relying completely on the anti-incumbency vote?
Jai Hind, Vasudha, when you talk about the electoral arena in Haryana today, I think it is dominated by public issues. It is dominated by popular demands of employment, reduction of inflation, the women's security, and I think that is what is driving this election for us. As much as the BJP may have wanted to polarize this election, like it did the Jat Andolan in Haryana, and it subjected this very calm, peaceful state of Haryana to communalism in Nu and Mewat last year. As much as they tried, I think the public is very clear. They are going to oust this misrule of the BJP of last 10 years. And as our Honorable President, Mr. Kharge, pointed out today, to the very mischievous statement that was made by the erstwhile Chief Minister in the state of Haryana while he attempted polarization, while he attempted sabotage of the somewhat successful sabotage of the farmer community, when he called out his workers of the BJP and the Sangh, saying Shathe Shathyam Samacharet, a phrase that is taught popularly across the Sangh shakhas, ke ek lathi uthao aur tumhare ko hum bacha lenge. So that attempt is not forgotten by the youth, the farmers, the women of Haryana. And this election is going to be a one-sided election against the BJP. The BJP is going to be ousted. In Haryana, we say khaat khadi karna. So BJP's khaat is certainly going to be ousted of Haryana.
Okay, Siddharth Yadav, clearly, like Mahima is also saying, are there some policies of the Manohar Lal government? We saw what happened with the e-tendering and also some sarpanches being quite upset about it. Do you think that some of the policies also amplified this Jat anger against your government and also the farmers' protest? Of course, Naib Singh Saini has taken a different approach, but do you think that this is something that the party is working hard towards addressing?
No, Vasudha, I think in the last 10 years, Haryana has seen a regime of change, a regime towards progress. We had 0 unicorns in Haryana before 2014. We have more than 10. A lot of systematic changes were made so that investments can be brought in, lives can be simplified, benefits can be given directly to the farmers, more and more opportunities can be made for the youth. And for those, a lot of new reforms were brought in the state, which were welcomed by the people. And that is why we continued to stay in power after 2019. And we are relying on those reforms even till date. the budget for education in state of Haryana has gone up to 20,000 crores. When Congress party had left Haryana, it was 9,000 crores. The MBBS seats in Haryana has increased three times, three folds. In all sectors in Haryana, it is only the Bharatiya Janata Party's regime that people have finally found hope that this state, the prosperous state of Haryana, can come out of the shackles of the damads and dalals and dealers and the caucus of the Congress party and their corruption, and then finally can, dream of a prosperous state and a prosperous future. When it comes down to the rule of Congress party and the rule specifically of the Huddaji, I think the divisive statements that have to be looked upon are the rule and the statements that were made by Huddaji then. I have the media reports here. In Haryana, every 18th minute, Dalits were attacked. This was the media reports back then, and this was what was told by Kumari Shelja. It was not me. Kumari Shelja was the union minister, and Kumari Shelja said, "It's a curse to be a Dalit in Haryana." Union Minister Kumari Shelja. Haryana Sarkar
Because
laparwa
of the
or
BJP.
choti mansikta wadi. What happened in Haryana in the past, in the 10 years when Huddaji ruled Haryana, was a divisive politics where the Dalit, Pichda, Shoshit, Vanchit were all deprived of their rights. The youth were deprived of their rights. The only kharchi parchi model and people with power, the people who can access, the power circles, were only given opportunities. All of that has been done away with. Reforms have taken over, and the story of reforms is going to go, even more ahead. And BJP is going to do a hat trick in the coming polls.
Before I go to Amitabh Tiwari, Mahima, quickly, your boss Rahul Gandhi does speak about caste census. He talks about, empowerment of Dalits. But clearly, when you had the chance in Telangana, it was Revant Reddy. Here, it looks like Hudas. So when are we? I mean, we did see that in Siddaramaiah, but Siddaramaiah is not completely a Congress product. Of course, he is with the Congress party now, but he has had a long political career. So when are we going to see the Congress party walk the talk and actually have somebody who's not, as the CM, who's not from the dominant community?
Vasudha, I think when the BJP spokesperson speaks of change, I think he's right, because we saw the chief minister of Haryana change after a misrule of 9 years and 118 days just recently before the Lok Sabha election, when the BJP was trying to save its face in the state of Haryana, a state which the BJP has brought on the verge of bankruptcy today. When we left the state of Haryana, the debt that was there, it is manifold, multiple times today, and the BJP is to blame. You are asking me whether, we are going to project a CM which represents all. I think the Congress party has always walked the talk, Vasudha. Whether it is, the first woman prime minister, the first woman speaker, the first woman governor, you just pick up the history and you see the nuances. Whenever the time is ripe, it is the Congress party that strikes the change. And that's going to be in Haryana as well. You will see, as Honorable LOP Shri Rahul Gandhi has mentioned on several platforms during his recent tours in Haryana as well, कि 36 biradari का मुख्यमंत्री होगा. The CM in this state will represent 36 communities that are popularly talked about, the state of Haryana. So the BJP's divisive politics era is over. Haryana is ready for a change.
Okay, just hold on to that thought of yours. We also have Gurpreet, a reporter, NDTV's reporter, from joining us from Haryana. Gurpreet, we are discussing the caste factor and the kind of impact it may have on elections this time. I fundamentally believe that people don't completely vote on caste lines. There are other issues also on their head. What is it looking like on ground? What kind of prominence do you see these influential communities and also communities like Dalits, having when it comes to the electoral space that Haryana is presenting this time?
Well, yes, this is also one of the factors this time we have seen in the political arena. Lot of calculations are being made by all the political parties. We have seen a few days back, a few months back, we have seen the Chief Minister has been picked from OBC community, and after that we have seen there is a lot of calculation by all the political party, whether it's the Congress, they are deciding many factors including this caste factor also. They are trying to find out which community is dominating in which from which area. If we can talk about the Jat, we all know they are around 24 to 26%, and most of the leaders they have come from that community. So these are the factors which they are involving this time, and this is a trend not only in the single party, whether it's the BJP, Aam Aadmi Party, JJP, INLD, all the parties they are trying to go for this calculation, so that this time no party will be able to leave any chance, any stone unturned, and every party is trying to make all the combinations so that they will be able to retain power within the state. So somewhere down the lane, we have been traveling from the various locations of Haryana. We have seen somewhere they are picking up the candidate. Who is the candidate? The face of candidate matters a lot for the people. Some of there we have seen the caste combination matters a lot of things. Some of the policies, some of the developments, such type of the issues are prevailing in the state of Haryana. And let's see that which political strategy, whether it's the caste combination, caste calculation, or some development calculation, or maybe face combinations, that will be worked out. That will be clear once result will be out. After that, we will see which political party was able to make a proper political strategy to woo the voters to gain the power within the state of Haryana. Back to studio.
Thank you, Gurpreet, for joining us. Amitabh Tiwari, you know, for the 58 years that Haryana has been in existence as a state, for 33 years it has had a Jat chief minister. What do the numbers say when it comes to the prominence of Jat voters and also Dalit community in Haryana? Both are present in significant numbers. Apart from OBCs, we see that the BJP is actively working to consolidate non-Jat Dalit voters. Congress is banking on the Hudas. It's also hoping for a Jat consolidation and also the fallout of 10 years of anti-incumbency. How have these communities voted in the last few years?
So see, if you see, there are 37 seats where the Jat population is more than 20%. And in 2019, Congress backed only 14 of them because there was a three-way split between the BJP, the Congress and the JJP. Now in 2024, if you see, the Congress party was leading in 27 of these 37 seats, assembly segments. So the Jat land, which we call largely Rohtak and Hisar, is where the Congress will have to take a significant lead in these 37 odd seats, because historically or traditionally over the last two elections, they have not done significantly well in Gurugram, which is dominated by Ahirs, and in Faridabad, which is dominated by the Gujar community. Now, any influential community, there is always certain degree of discontent. So that is what the BJP is trying to capture. That is what it did in 2014 and 19 also. We've seen how non-Yadav OBCs consolidated against the Yadavs in Bihar and UP, how non-Jatavs consolidated against the Jatavs in UP when Mayawati was the chief minister. So that is the risk. If there is because there is a section of people which fears or is apprehensive of the return of the era of Jat dominance. That is why if you see, the Congress also has not clearly named Bhupendra Singh Hooda or his son as the CM face, and he also keeps on talking about this Chhattis biradari, that they have the support of the Chhattis biradari, and the CM will represent all the Chhattis biradaris. What is working for the Congress is that, as you said, caste is not the only factor. There is socio-economic class, and there is also occupation-based voting or demographic-based voting. And three key blocks: farmers, youth, which is 18 to 25 age category, and females. They have voted in large numbers for the Congress party in 2024 Lok Sabha election because of farmers' protest, restless protest, and the Agnivir protest. So there is already some discontent which the Congress party is banking on, and with the rallies of Rahul Gandhi, it hopes to also consolidate the discontent or the anti-incumbency of 10 years.
Right. Amitabh Kesri, Mr. Sekri, you know,
Amandeep Kesri.
Amandeep ji, you know, when you look at the declining vote share of the INLD, it used to be such a powerful force, and in fact, Mr. Chautala's family, you know, there has been a certain sense that the primary vote bank of the Chautala family and also Jats is in some ways shifting to the Congress party. That's what we saw in the Lok Sabha elections. Why do you think that's going to change right now? Do you think that your tie-up or alliance with the PSP will also help?
See, Vasudha, before getting to that, we have to look in the factors. One exception in 2019, when we have a split in our party. And due to that, I will not deny that we have lost our vote bank. and these were the unfortunate circumstances. But now the circumstances of the state has changed, and people have watched the divisive policy of BJP in the last 10 years. And instead of opposing those divisive policies and those policies which disturb the communal harmony in Haryana, Congress also sailed in the same boat. And you have the Congress spokesman speaking about those only instances that instigates the particular community. So people, this time you have asked the question why people will believe us. We have formed an alliance with the Bahujan Samaj Party, and looking at the Haryana is an agrarian state. The maximum population here dominates and resides on the agriculture-related activities. And the two largest parties of the country, those represent farmers and peasants. Bahujan Samaj Party and Indian National Lokdal has formed an alliance in Haryana. And people are willingly, openly giving us a support in huge numbers. And also, I want to make it clear that when we restrict to a particular community, when we say the Jat community,
right,
actually it is not the Jat community. And these type of 36 biradari, 35 versus 1 came from the last 10 years. Before 2014, you are not getting to even heard single time that there is a communal divide in Haryana.
Okay, let me, that's a very interesting point. Let me take that to Siddharth. Siddharth, this 35 biradari, 36 except 1 in the last 10 years. And also, even when you talk about OBC, someone like Karandev Kamboj leaving the party and saying that OBCs are being treated as a vote bank, you think that in terms of social engineering, you may have done well on the infrastructure front or development front, but in terms of social engineering, this thing has been a problem for the way Manohar Lalji sort of dealt with, at least in the politics of Haryana. So that you'll have to unmute yourself.
I'm sorry, Vasudha.
Yes.
Vasudha, I think the only attempt of social engineering in Haryana was to take all the 36 biradaris together and to make everyone come together on the same board without any focus or any political outfit or any political system surpassing and overpressing on the rights of the common people. That was the model which the people of Haryana chose. Now, what the rule of the Hooda ji, and I do not call it Congress because there's a lot of Congress parties in Haryana. There's the difference between Hooda ji's Congress and Shailja ji's Congress. But the rule of Hooda ji in 10 years was reached at the epitome of snatching away the rights of the Dalit, Shoshit, Vanchit, Pichda, and everything. And we did not used to say this. It was their own leaders, their own ministers who used to come out and say that, and people used to feel that. How can it happen that in a state of Haryana, which is so prosperous, jobs will only go in one region, development will go in one region, people will be selected based on caste? Who did that? Who did that division? I come from South Haryana. You go to any village in South Haryana, people now in villages of South Haryana, for the first time,
let me take a response from Mahima. Mahima, are there different Congress parties within one Congress party? Because clearly what Rahul Gandhi says is different from what Hoodas are also projecting. While you're talking about anti-incumbency in general, but Rahul Gandhi is also talking about social justice, talking about empowering the people who have not been empowered in the last several years. So clearly there is a difference in the state unit and also what the leadership is projecting. Do you think that is something that will impact your prospects?
Vasudha, the epitome of political frivolity indeed is when the BJP speaks of this kind of factionalism. We remember just days ago, Nadda ji held a rally and we did not see their own leaders, Rao Inderjeet Singh or Ramvilas Sharma or others. We have seen the attitude of Anil Vij when Naib Saini was made the chief minister. We have seen how Captain Abhimanyu has been neglected in their party. We have seen Kavita Jain cry. So it is epitome of political frivolity when the BJP tries to target at the Congress because they have nowhere to hide today. The point is that the Congress party left Haryana at a debt of 70,000 crore. And today, my dear state stands at an overwhelming debt of 3.5 lakh crores at behest of the BJP, at behest of miscalculations of Mr. Mr. Manohar Lal Khattar, 2019 mandate was not in favor of the BJP. It was against the BJP. It has been a rule of backstabbing. The last 5 years in Haryana was a rule of
Okay,
backstabbing.
quickly, last word from, before I go to Mr. Amitabh Tiwari. Siddharth, would you like to respond to that?
Yes, I just make a quick response. Number one, if the people elect political parties and people elected BJP, do not go so against the people of Haryana. Randeep Surjewala ji on a stage had said, BJP ko vote dene wale log rakshas hain. In the last election, Congress had won 31 seats, but on 27 seats, zamanat jabt ho gayi thi aapki. So where is Congress left in the regions? That is a different story altogether. But I think, Mahima ji needs to understand is that this factionalism in Haryana was started under the Huda rule. And what you're doing on ground is way different. If you were, for all castes and all regions, then you should have shown it under your rule. You
What
do
happened
differently
to
when you are in
Salingate?
power and you
What
say
happened
differently
to
when you are in
Sattar Abhimanyu?
opposition.
What
think
happened
this is
to
very
Tiwari?
obvious.
Closing remarks from
The
you,
BJP
sir.
has nowhere to
Do you think
hide.
that
That
this
is the truth.
experiment of BJP to have a non-Jat chief minister in some ways has also added to the problems of the BJP, or do you think this has been of advantage to the party?
No, see, they have used this strategy in many other states also. Maharashtra, where they installed a Brahmin as chief minister, in Jharkhand, where they installed a non-tribal. Unfortunately, in both these states, this strategy of playing anti-dominant caste politics has not worked. So we'll have to see. Haryana is the last state where such strategy is being implemented. Whether it works or not, we have to see. See, 36% Jats backed the Congress and 31% the JJP in 2019. 64% backed the India bloc in 2024. So the weakening of the JJP and the INLD also has pushed the Jat vote towards the Congress party, and they have to be just wary of this Jat versus non-Jat consolidation and continue to back the support which they received from the OBCs and the Dalits.
Right.
Incidentally, among OBCs also, the India bloc was leading in the
Right.
2024 general elections because of the caste census pitch.
Right. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining me on this broadcast. So, Haryana elections, a cauldron of caste and, of course, a complex web of many livelihood and development issues. Campaign is going on there, but both parties are putting in their best. Tomorrow, of course, will be the last day before the state votes on the 5th of October. We'll keep tracking that for you.